Hello, this is going to be a book review on Hulk Hogan, My Life Outside the Ring. This is his second autobiography. His first one he wrote back in like 2004, and that one he made under WWE, the company of WWE. This book he made under the publishing company of Eric Bischoff, which, if you don't know, was the former CEO, president of WCW. And I guess he and Bischoff are still pretty cool with each other. I guess after all these years, um, the difference is the first book, which he made under WWE Publications, is that's more so his character Hulk Hogan and his life inside the ring. So it talks about him, a bit about his life before he got into the ring, and then it talks about how he got into wrestling, but it's pretty vague compared to this book. This book is a lot more open about how he got into it. Because on his last one, probably because of WWE, they don't allow him to put everything into it that had to do anything negative. They try to keep it real clean in that book. But this one is a real tell-all. I mean, it just tells everything how he got into the industry, and it's a really wacky story of how he did. And but basically, yeah, this book goes into his life outside the ring and everything that goes on um, off of camera, and that's about it. It talks about even his life after his last autobiography, and it just explains a lot more, especially about his family. It explains more about his background, his life, his roots, and it's if you're a Hulk Hogan fan, I'd recommend reading it because you're gonna really enjoy it. Even though it doesn't talk about his storylines of when he was wrestling, his life story is really good to hear about too, and it gives a lot of really nitty gritty stuff that's happened in his life too. It's almost like an inspirational book, kind of, when you get towards the end and stuff, and how he made it through some of the difficult stuff he's gone that's happened in his life that's explained in the book. And it also explains certain things that the media put on television to make him look bad for a while there. And it just seems like the media is trying to get at him any chance they can get. And he explains a lot of that stuff because his son was in a real huge car accident, and the media tried to make Hulk Hogan look real bad in that. But this book clarifies a lot of stuff, so I'd recommend it for anybody that's wrestling fan. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, it's still a really good book on someone's life that made it that was really popular in the 80s, and then he had a comeback in the mid 90s, because for a while there he wasn't so popular because of something else going on. And yeah, it's just a really good book, and I like it actually. I really liked it, and I'd recommend it for anybody of any age, just about. Maybe it's better to read the first book so you get more of an idea of who he is. But if you already know who he is, it's a real good book still. Because, like I said, there's a lot of information about. I mean, he has a brother. I didn't even know Hulk Hogan had a brother. He talks about his life in Florida. He actually owned his own gym in Florida before he went into the wrestling industry. He actually started his own bodybuilding gym, kind of fitness center out there in Florida, and I didn't even know that. I'd never heard that in anything I've read of him on the internet, and it's just a real good book. It gives you an insiders on how he made it into the industry. This wasn't some guy that just uh, walked into one of the territories and said he wanted to be a wrestler. It took him a very long time to get into the wrestling industry. It took him almost 8 years, maybe just about 10 years, until he even started making money. Because it was basically just a part-time thing for him, and it was on and off. He almost didn't even go into it because he got so sick of the industry. But he made it with Vince McMahon when he knew him, not senior but junior, and it explains a lot of that too in his book, and I just really recommend it.